Kids, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a coon's age. I got the coog. I got the sun coming through too. It's not that bright. I can see you a lot better now. Okay, so what do we got? We got an episode for you that I've been wanting to do for a long time. So here it is. Since my bro just called me the other day, actually sent me some pictures about some tomato plants. The tomato plants, well, I'll tell you what. It's interesting. We're all alchemists. We all like to experiment, kids, don't you? Everybody else is watching. You all experiment. We experiment on different levels. Well, bro is experimenting on tomatoes. He had the same seeds. The seeds were the very same. And what happened was he did the experiment on one. On the left side got tap water. The other side got vitalized water that he makes alkaline water through these tubes and all this stuff. It's pretty cool. And so he has alkaline water on one, and then he has tap water on the other. And what happened was so far, I mean, because he gave me he gave me a message. He said he remembers when I taught him about tomato plants and all that stuff. And so that's why he's doing this experiment to see what would the outcome be. Okay, Coog. This is the big Coog. The Coog. The lover Coog. And I'll brush you again, boy, I know. This is like a lot of hair. So we have an experiment. The right side, it's a 5-foot tomato plant. I look at the other pictures like 2 foot. So you got 2 foot, 5 foot, same seed, same time. Planted in the same soil. Except the water is different. And he wanted to know, what do I think? What do I think? The first thing that came to my mind was, do you like the plant on the right better than the plant on the left? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, are you giving love and light to the one on the right, and are you giving cursing and hating to the left one? Or at least you have a negative attitude toward the one on the left and a positive one on the right? He says, that's funny, you should mention that. Someone just said that to me the other day, and I heard a giggle, so it was his girlfriend. So then he laughed, and that told me the telltale sign that I was getting the answer from him. He had an attitude toward the one on the left that wasn't doing so well. And so the other one has like 138 tomatoes on it, and the one on the left is way lower. So here we go. And it could be because of the water, sure. But as we know, kids, the experiment they did with the kids in school, 2 different classrooms, totally set apart, same plants, and they watered them, had the same sunlight, but one side of the kids were supposed to say they were singing and happy and blessing their plants with love. The other side was not doing that. They were giving hatred and cursing their plants. You know what happened? The negative side pretty much died, and if they didn't die, they just didn't look the same as the other ones that were doing so healthily and doing well. So plants have feelings, kids. Plants have feelings, and they also have an elemental that help them grow. I kind of went into that in the past, but these are just proven facts. Maybe not scientifically yet, but through the esoteric field of people understanding vibration and how it works. This is how it works. It just does that way. Oh, I got a perfect one for that. I'll make it real fast. This guy in Scotland, he had some land that was crummy land. Nobody could grow anything on it, but he came in there with the idea that he was planting these seeds, and he was blessing these seeds. He was singing and talking to these seeds, just regular water, and they all grew, and he had a bounty that nobody could believe. And this is unfertile soil. I think it was like crummy, the crummiest. And he's having all this fantastic things with all these fruits and vegetables that are growing for him. Well, he was talking to them with the understanding that they had an elemental, which was helping them grow, which they do. We have elementals all around us: fire, air, water, and earth. I spoke about that before. And this is the stuff that Mother Earth is telling us right now, that we're overburdening these elementals with all the poo that we're throwing at them. And that's why we're having a lot of more earthquakes, a lot of volcanoes, a lot of hurricanes, tsunamis, and well, that didn't really show up really quite yet, but we have a lot of flooding going on. And this is all Mother Earth telling us get back in the swing of things. That's all. Hopefully we're going to understand that. I think we will. I think there's going to be an awakening on that. So then we have the Brothers Tomatoes. I don't know what I'm going to have for the, okay, we'll just have a thumbnail saying tomatoes, all right? That'll be the thumbnail, tomatoes. Now after the tomatoes, we go down to corn. We have to do the corn because, as I said in the past, my third, fourth grade out of my fourth grades. In Triangle School, Hillsborough, New Jersey, the teacher said, and I'm thinking about it, she was priming us or something. Now that I just think about it, you guys are fantastic. You just brought something to my attention. The cornfields, miles apart. One cornfield had no sound whatsoever, just normal corn growing like a corn does grow out in the field. The next one had rock music. The next one, miles apart, had jazz playing. Big old bass speakers all the time it was growing. The next one had classical, all the classical, and these are all miles apart. Well, at the end of the deal of the harvest, the one that had no sound came out normal. And then the next one was acid rock and jazz, pretty much the same, but it was less than the one that had no sound. The classical outdid everything. The classical, bushels more with classical. Okay. So right after that, she plays classical music. You guys brought back something I forgot about in that last story. She brought out classical music. How do I remember? Because it was the Grand Canyon Suite. It's a classical piece. It's clippity-clop, clippity-clop. She said, close your eyes. What do you hear? And it was clippity-clop. It was the donkeys going down the Grand Canyon. Anybody here? Look up Grand Canyon Suite. And I know because we went to the Grand Canyon all the time. We had already been there 3 times that year. We traveled a lot, as I said in the past. And I went down twice. I only told you the one story about the Giants on the Giants Grand Canyon one. I still have more for you, I promise. Put it on a back shelf. So I'm listening to classical, and then she had me hooked on classical at that point. Yeah, isn't it interesting? I'm my fourth grade. So I wasn't going to say this, but now that it all does come in full circle here as far as music and sound goes, my cousin Jim, I said he had about 100 chickens. 25 were like Americanas, the one that laid the blue eggs, and then he had the Leghorn, Long Island Leghorn, you know, the red chicken. And the one, like my chicken in the back, 16 years young, Gertrude or Gretchen. She goes by either one. So I go into his chicken coop one day, excuse me, and I had been in there before with no music, but now I go in there with music, and it's like, I think it was jazz or acid rock. And I'm looking at these chickens, and they're all like walking around. I'm looking at these chickens. Well, they look different from the last time I was sitting in there. I mean, they were just walking around normal. Now they're kind of like, oh, they're looking around. I'm just like, they're a little discombobulated. So I said, Jim, you're playing this music. Why don't you do an experiment? Why don't you play classical music? Next time I come over, it's classical music he's playing. All these chickens are sitting on their roost, and they're quiet. They're just sitting around like this. Look, there's harmony in. They're not walking around all crazy. Is it a coincidence? Well, maybe not. The next one I want to say is, I was a cab driver, as I said before. It was raining so hard, the windshield wipers were going so much that I couldn't even see in front of me. And then all of a sudden, off to the left, I see this tall lady. Boy, that cat had a lot of hairs. You're going to get brushed, guy. So I said, well, I got places to go, people to see. But I saw she had a little girl, and they didn't have an umbrella. She had some kind of like violin case. So she's waving me down, so I pull over, I get her. And as I said, I'll open the door. What is the first thing? The girl didn't even get in. She says, classical! And I said, yeah, that's all I play, get in. So they get in, and then she said, yeah, I did an experiment with crystals. And I said, crystals? I said, I did an experiment with crystals too. I was in my fifth grade. I think she was in 6th grade. I should have asked her, was that crystal experiment, was there in her 4th, 5th, or 6th grade? All you kids, preschoolers, everybody, just kind of less experienced. You know that you're going to get some crystals someday, hopefully down the road. They're going to do this for you. Now, all your parents and grandparents and guardians and people that are watching, I'm sure you already did the crystal test. Everybody did the crystal test. You grow crystals. You grow them. And it's in a little box, and they usually grow up a little, or they're usually flat. You know, it's normal how the crystals are. But she said, this is what she said. She says, classical. I did that with my crystals. And I'm thinking, well, I never did any of that with my crystals. I just brought them home. And when I brought them home in my room, it was pretty quiet. And they grew up, which crystals are a geometric structure that goes up in lattices or not. Mine went up in a lattice going up this way, then off to that way, and then a little that way, then a little that way, a little that way. Kind of like it just came up little pieces like a stick or something with things, branches coming off it. That was mine. I asked Nikki, that fellow that I brought up before in Channel 8, Episode 8, when I was in 6th grade and I had to deal with that 9th grader. And he did get back to me on that. His sister was 4 years older and she knew that 9th grader, so it wasn't like, and I can't say his name to this day. I don't know. I think he's still my friend. But anyway, when I was dealing with that, we were all doing crystals also the year prior to that. And I asked Nikki, how did your crystal grow? And he says, I don't really know. I think they were just flat. Okay, so he gave me some kind of feedback. Now, when she said she did hers and it went in a spiral upward, I said, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. Because I know about the spectrograph that they have with sound. There's the sound of acid rock and jazz is a downbeat. That's why everybody loves it, because it's a jangling down your back. You're getting that jazz, you're getting that energy of a sensation, okay? You're getting a sensation, and some people say it's wonderful. And maybe some people don't know about classical being 3/4 of a beat, which is what your heartbeat is. So classical goes with your heartbeat. All the jazz and the acid rock goes against your heartbeat. So that's what you're getting, the jangle. You're getting the jingle and jangle. And you're saying, how wonderful it is. And I told you that I wasn't exempt from going to concerts, for crying out loud. You remember? Whatever episode it was, Mata Hoople, Queen, third engagement, Eurus Theater, New York, 74. And, everybody screaming and yelling. I was clapping, but I wasn't that kind of guy. I was listening to it. I never opened myself up to it, is what I'm saying. Some people do. They open themselves up to a lot of things. And then the next one with Zeppelin, the Zeppelin one, how that went. Episode 14. It only takes one person to stop a riot. I can't go there now. I've already been there, but I'm just saying there's an energy that goes on with acid rock. That's all. It does go against your heartbeat. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's scientifically proven, for crying out loud. I mean, I'm not making this stuff up. I mean, I knew about it about the corn and stuff in 4th grade. And then the other stuff I learned when I guess I got into high school. I knew about that other stuff too. So then we got the by the way, she had to go to a recital. She had a violin case, so she's playing classical. So the kid loved classical, so she had to play classical with her crystals. It made sense, didn't it? And by the way, we did get her there on time. So I just wanted to say, kids, there's different levels of sound I was going to do thought, word, and the deed action, but we'll stay with just tomatoes. Thumbnails, tomatoes. And how, I don't know how Bro's doing. I guess, Bro, you're going to have to see this episode, because I know you haven't watched it yet. Oh, yeah, you did. You mentioned rat poison. He did watch that, whatever episode. See, I was 5, he was 3. It's under rat poison. And by the way, rat poison can be positive or negative. It's positive to kill a rat, but other than that, it could be really negative. So that would be rat poison. It's the one with the skull and crossbones and rat. Okay, so I think I've hit everything that I wanted to do. I just wanted to keep this kind of short for you kids, because I know you got a lot of things to do. You got to do homework, you got to do your push-ups, and you got to probably get ready for dinner or bed. And if it's bed, you make sure you say your prayers before you go to night, and say, Archangel Michael, I want your protection around me and my family and everyone else on this planet Earth, especially Taiwan, and especially Ukraine, and all places that are besieged by negativity, let them be all cut free. Ask something sweet like that, kids. And those prayers really do help. Because as we know, just with the plants alone, they did very well with the prayers and singing to them and thinking positive. And all the other ones are getting cursed, yelled at, screamed at, and they didn't do too well. So what we think, what we say, what we do matters a lot. So let it be all positive as you can. Have as much of a heart flame of love and light, understanding as much as you can for everyone that you come across until you see me again. Okay, until then, I want everybody to be well and have God victory all week long. Oh, by the way, happy Monday. Aloha.